Hey guys, my name's Pharrell Friedel, and I'm going to show you how to make your first beat, song, or instrumental in FL Studio. First thing you're going to want to do is go to this top menu bar here and open up the channel rack, which will be the third one on the right. You can also open this by pressing F6 on your keyboard. And this menu is going to be where you add in your instruments and control your sounds. So I'm going to hit the plus symbol here. I'm going to go to Flex. I recommend you start with this plugin. It's very easy to use. Next, I'm going to go to the Essential Pianos sound pack, and I'm going to use Yamaha C7. You can use any preset you like. For Flex, if it's your first time opening it, you'll probably have to click these download buttons. That will install the sound kit for you, but it shouldn't take too long. So go back to the channel rack here, right-click on the instrument you just selected, and press Piano Roll. This menu is where you're going to program in your notes and chords. So to place a note, left click. To move it around, click and drag. To move the note up and down. Control scroll to zoom in. Left click on the very end of the note to adjust how long it is. Alt left click for a more fine selection. And I'm going to go ahead and make a chord progression. You can follow along or make your own. Now, if you have three notes here that are already the same length, and you shift and click, it'll drag all of them together. To adjust the speed or BPM of your song, go up to this number here, and that's going to be your tempo. Left click and drag. Click here to listen with the metronome. Now that our first pattern's done, we're going to open the playlist menu, which is the first one on the left. You can also open this by pressing F5 on your keyboard. And this menu is where you're going to drag in your patterns and put them all together. So I'm going to drag in my first pattern that we just made. Same thing, left click to drag, control scroll to zoom in. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new pattern. I'm going to call this one Kick. Oops. So open up the channel rack again, and with your kick pattern selected, you can program in your kick. Now that that's done, I'm going to make another pattern. I'm going to name this one hi-hat. You can press F2 to rename your pattern. Back to the channel rack again. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click here, and then do fill each two steps. And what that's going to do is it's automatically place a hi-hat every two steps. Drag your hi-hat pattern in. Next, I'm going to add my snare. Same thing. Open up the channel rack. Again, to listen to a pattern individually, select pattern mode, and it'll play whatever pattern you have selected up here. Now that that's done, I want to make my song longer than 8 seconds. So click the selector tool, click and drag to select all this. I'm going to press Control B, and that's going to duplicate my pattern. Control D to deselect. Another way you can do this is select the paintbrush tool, select your pattern, and you can just click and drag. Make sure it's lined up properly. Right click to delete. Alright, so now that we have our song somewhat laid out, let's go back into the channel rack and change the sound of our drums. So to find sounds, go to this menu on the left here. You can open and close it by pressing this one here. Go to the packs folder, drums. I'm going to go to the kick folder. I'm going to use Groove Kick 17. Left click and drag that on top of your kick. And that'll change the sound of your kick. Next, the hi-hat. You can also use the arrow keys to scroll through these. Then I'm going to do the snare. So I want to listen to all my drums together, so I'm going to mute the piano by left-clicking this green circle. Once you click here, it'll automatically change it into song mode. Alright, now that we've selected our drum sounds, open up the channel rack one more time. Go to the instrument you added, and we're going to put this on a mixer track. So I'm going to use number 5. Make sure these are also on a mixer track. I have my kick on 1, my hi-hat on 3, and then my snare on 4. And open the mixer menu. You can open this by clicking here or pressing F9, and this is where you're going to adjust the levels of everything. And what we did by just setting that number is we assigned our instrument here to mixer track 5. This is where you want to adjust the volumes of everything at the end. Don't worry about this number too much yet. Just make sure it doesn't go above 0 decibels, or that's when your song will clip and start to distort, and that doesn't sound good. This menu is also where you can add effects, so I'm going to take my piano and left click on this. I'm going to rename this by pressing F2 just so I know what it is. You can also select a color if you want. And once this is highlighted, if you see this right menu here, this is where you can add in your effects. So I'm going to left click on the arrow, and I'm going to use something called Luxverb, which is a reverb plugin. Scroll through different reverb presets by left clicking these arrows or right click to see the whole menu. You can turn down the reverb effect by clicking this knob here and dragging. And there you go. You've started your first beat in FL Studio. In part 2, I'm going to go over adding layers to this and some more basic effects. Thank you for watching and subscribe.